What's up guys, and welcome back to the Submission Addiction. In today's video I will be giving my predictions for the entire UFC Freedom 250 UFC White House event, whatever you want to call it, right? Topuria versus Gaethje and Pereira versus Cyril Gane. And we'll start off with the first fight, Diego Lopez against Steve Garcia. This fight should be, should actually be a banger. Diego Lopez, of course, we all know this guy. High pace, high power. He's a brawler, but he is also technical. He's a technical striker that likes to brawl. He's not afraid to get in there, get in the clinch, get in the close distance and make some hooks and uppercuts instead of just jabbing right. Steve Garcia, he's like a fucking bulldozer that just comes marching forward. Super high pace, high volume. Again, tons of power. These guys are actually pretty similar in style. I will give, so therefore it's hard to give an educated prediction. I'm leaning towards Diego Lopez because of that. He could still be a future champ, whereas I don't necessarily see Steve Garcia as a potential future champ. I mean, he could be, right? They both could be. But I'm leaning towards Diego Lopez, As much as I acknowledge that he didn't win against Volk in the two fights that he had with him, he still won 5 rounds with Volk 2 times. And they were somewhat, they were competitive fights. And Volk is, as much as Volk is not in his prime anymore and he's not as fast as he used to be, he's still a great fighter. Yeah, so I believe that Diego Lopez should win this. I get that Steve Garcia maybe has more momentum on his side, like Diego Lopez, he lost to Volk, he won against John Silva, and then he lost to Volk again. So he's 1-2 in his last 3 fights. But he has 5 round experience. I get that this is a 3 rounder, but still he has great cardio, because we know that from his fights with Volk, he has cardio for 5 rounds. He has tons of power. But not that, one punch. He doesn't have that Topuria power, because we saw him hit Volk with very hard punches, very hard strikes. And Volk didn't go down. But man, this is tough. I'm gonna pick Diego Lopez by decision. But it's actually... But it's because of that experience. He's been in there with Volk, with John Silva, with Movsar Evloev. I get that was a long time ago, but he's been in there with some of the best guys in the world. I still believe that they should have made Lopez versus Yair Rodriguez, right, instead of this fight. As we get on to Bo Nickel versus Kyle Dawkins, a fucking disgrace of a fight on the UFC White House. But I'm gonna give my predictions anyways. Kyle, as much as Kyle Dawkins, he was in the UFC, got kicked, came back, looked decent in his last fight. I can't even remember who it was. Bo Nickel actually looked really good in his last fight after taking that loss to Ryan Ritter. As much as I think that the UFC is definitely overhyping Bo Nickel, I do think that he is better, and I think that he is significantly better than Kyle Dawkins. He doesn't have the best MMA wrestling in the world, but as a pure wrestler, he's one of the best in the UFC, but not one of the best MMA wrestlers. So therefore, the difference in wrestling is not as much as let's say should be, but he is still clearly in the advantage of wrestling and power, I think. I do still believe that Bo Nickel has a future ahead of him, whereas Kyle Dawkins, I don't see him getting anywhere further than this. So I guess I am picking Bo Nickel by having the higher skill ceiling, right? He has the wrestling, he has the power. I do think that he could get Kyle Dawkins out in the second round by ground and pound. I think that he will stick to his wrestling, take Kyle Dawkins down, wear him out in the first round, and then come the second round, I think that he will be more and more dominant and more like he will really step up his ground and pound, and I think that he will get Kyle Dawkins out in the second round by ground and pound. I could also see the submission, but I'm gonna go with ground and pound for this one. As we move on to Mauricio Ruffi against Michael Chandler. A bit of a weird fight, to be honest. Michael Chandler doesn't really deserve this fight. Mauricio Ruffi, clearly the guy with the right career trajectory at the moment. Michael Chandler, I think he's 2-6 in the UFC. His last fight against Paddy Pimblett was the worst fight of his career, definitely his UFC career. He got beat up bad against Paddy Pimblett. And Paddy Pimblett is I actually think he's underrated, because a lot of people hate him so much. They think he's overrated. I think he's a bit underrated. He is actually a decent fighter, Paddy. However, he got beat way too bad, man. Mauricio Ruffi, right career trajectory. He is really a prospect to be. I get that he got dominated against Saint Denis, but he went out there against was it Benil Dariush? Yeah, I believe it was Benil Dariush. Absolutely destroyed him. Michael Chandler, he's 39, I believe, totally washed at this point. This should be Mauricio Ruffi by KO in the first or second round. Maybe Chandler still have a bit of a chin on him, and he survives to the third round or even the decision, but I really think that Mauricio Ruffi gets the early KO here in the first round, maybe the second. And we move on to Josh Hokett against Derek Lewis, the Black Beast. We have the president of the United States be matchmaking before GTA 6. What a world, right? We have the undefeated Josh Hokett. They really, UFC are really pushing Josh Hokett. I think he had 2 fights in the UFC, which he won, and then they pushed him, gave him Curtis Blades, which was an absolute war. That was an amazing fight. Could really be interesting. This guy, Josh Hokett, I don't foresee him becoming a champ or anything, but I do believe that he's a good volume striker. I think that he's pretty much on the same level as a guy like Waldo Cortez Acosta. Not champion material, but like between top 5, top 10 gatekeeper of the division. But actually a really solid guy. He's not the biggest heavyweight. He's actually a pretty small heavyweight. And then you have Derek Lewis, who is a fucking monster. I mean, he's out of his prime. He still absolutely has the touch of death, but he looked so lazy in his last fight. I'm sorry, guys, I can't pick Derek Lewis in this one. I think he's too old. He's too like he acts like he doesn't even give a fuck anymore. And I think that that's really what is making my decision here. Derek Lewis doesn't seem like the guy that cares anymore. He gets in there, he gets paid, and he gets out. That's pretty much it. Whereas Josh Hokett, as much as I think he's fucking cringe, he is hungry, he's undefeated, and he wants to make a name for himself. And he already has, so I guess he has success with that already. But if he wins this fight, he could be in a title eliminator bout. And I really think that Josh Hogan is a hungry guy. I don't think that he will be champ. I don't think he will get the title fight if he gets the fight against like a guy like Volkov. But I think that he should win this fight pretty comfortably. He could knock Derrick Lewis out in the first round as well. I think this will be a knockout as well. So have I predicted like 4 knockouts, or did I pick Diego Lopez versus Steve Garcia as a decision? I don't even remember. I think I got Lopez Garcia as a decision and then knockout. We should be in for a really great night of fights, right? As we move on to Sean O'Malley versus Ayman Sahabi. Sean O'Malley is the more complete striker. He's a lot faster, a lot more powerful. This is a pretty obviously a setup fight for Sean O'Malley. A fight that he should go out there and win pretty comfortably. Ayman Sahabi, he has his brother Fares Sahabi as in his corner, as his head coach, I believe. Great coach, but I don't think that it will be enough to stop Sean O'Malley. This is a fight where you can smell it, guys. Come on, right? You can smell that this fight is just a setup for Sean O'Malley. They want Sean O'Malley as champion. They are still trying to push Sean O'Malley, and I get it somewhat. He should go out there and get the KO against Ayman Sahabi. They want Sean O'Malley to get another highlight reel KO before giving him another title shot against Peter Yan. If he goes out there and knock out Ayman Sahabi, he's definitely getting a title fight next. I'm really comfortable saying that. Ayman Sahabi is a really slow starter, whereas Sean O'Malley is a quick starter, and he's great in the later rounds. Ayman Sahabi tends to start out very, very slow, and then get himself, building himself into the fight as the fight moves on, right? So in the second, in the third round, he will start to implement his game plan, whereas he is much of he very much tends to have a feel out process in the first round, analyze all those sorts of things, really trying to recognize the patterns of his opponent. Sean O'Malley is a fast starter. He could knock Ayman Sahabi out in the first round, but Sean O'Malley is great in the later rounds as well. I mean, he won the 5th round against Merab Dvalishvili. He won the 3rd, I believe, in the Peter Yan fight. He won the 3rd in the Song Yadong fight. So Sean O'Malley is great. He's really great in the last round as well of fights. So I don't really see how Ayman Sahabi is going to beat Sean O'Malley, because I don't see him taking Sean O'Malley down. And Ayman Sahabi, I believe he's 37 or something. Now, okay, let me just Google him. We'll Google him together. Ayman Sahabi, he's 38 years old. He will turn 39 this year. He's absolutely getting destroyed. I'm sorry. I just can't see Ayman Sahabi win, especially in the lower weight classes. There's no chance that a guy at 38 who will turn 39 later this year beats Sean O'Malley, who is still, how old is Sean O'Malley? Is he 30 or something? He's really young. He's a young guy. So, and he's fast, and he's one of the best strikers in the UFC. I'm sorry, Ayman Sahabi, he's not surviving this fight. I'm predicting Sean O'Malley first round KO, highlight reel. Alright? As we get on to Alex Pereira versus Cyril Gane, and this fight is probably the most interesting from a predictor's perspective, at least. I think that this is by far the most competitive fight. Alex Pereira, Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane is more of a natural heavyweight. He's big, he's lean, whereas the pictures and the footage that we have seen of Alex Pereira, he looks a lot more bloated and like bulky, and he carries a lot of his gained weight in his legs, which is maybe not the best sign. I think that light heavyweight is really Alex Pereira's division. He was, I get that he was fucking huge in middleweight, but he was so huge that it was actually bad for his body. He was drained in his fights, whereas light heavyweight, where he didn't have to cut as much weight, he really seemed to tend to that division very well, even though he became a champion in middleweight, of course. Enough of that. Alex Pereira is a fucking huge guy, and he's the same height as Cyril Gane. However, Cyril Gane is he's just the more, some guys, they have a differences in their bone density, whereas Cyril Gane, he's just a naturally bigger guy, right? However, Alex Pereira, I believe he said something like he will weigh in at like 242 pounds. And if this is right, this right here, that says that Cyril Gane weighs in at 247 pounds. That could make this really interesting. Alex Pereira, if he weighs in only 5 pounds, that is like 2.5 kilos lighter than Cyril Gane, excuse me. They are pretty much the same size. The weight might be more well distributed on Cyril Gane's body, but Alex Pereira is a far better martial artist than Cyril Gane. And I know that Cyril Gane is a great kickboxer, and he really is moving like a middleweight. Cyril Gane is really like elusive and fast and creative in his striking. I get that, and he is probably even more like elusive and light on his feet than Alex Pereira. But Alex Pereira is more of a stand his ground fighter. He'll stand his ground, and then he'll throw like these powerful punches and powerful kicks. Whereas Cyril Gane, even though he's more elusive, he's more light on his feet. That also means that he doesn't carry that much power. When did you see Cyril Gane knock someone out cold? Never, right? So Alex Pereira definitely should have the power advantage here. Cyril Gane, I don't even think he's gonna have the speed advantage, man. And that's the thing. He could go out there and have the speed advantage, and that could be his thing. But I don't even think that he will be that it will be like that. Go back and watch Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev, the second fight, not the first fight, the second fight, and just watch how fast Alex Pereira is. He's super fast. He's super accurate. Cyril Gane, super fast, super accurate as well. But there's a skill gap. There's a big fucking skill gap between light heavyweight and heavyweight. The heavyweights that Cyril Gane are beating up, Sergey Spivak, Tai Tuivasa, where he got close to be getting knocked the fuck out by Tai Tuivasa. Imagine that. If you are getting close to being knocked out by Tai Tuivasa, I'm sorry, I predict that you will be beaten by Alex Pereira, right? So my official prediction is Alex Pereira by KO in the third round, maybe fourth round. I do think that Cyril Gane in the first couple of rounds will be able to have some success because he's light on his feet. But as the fight goes on, I think that Alex Pereira's leg kicks will really take its toll on Cyril Gane. So my official prediction will probably be like Alex Pereira by KO in the fourth round, which will be huge because Cyril Gane is a real athletic and natural heavyweight. So this would definitely count as a third belt for Alex Pereira. It's not like he goes out there, he goes up in weight, beats a guy like Josh Hoggett, who is 3 inches shorter than him and weighs, is a really small heavyweight. This is a big heavyweight. It's a big natural heavyweight, and it's a big natural, light on his feet, elusive heavyweight, right? With good striking. I just think Alex Pereira is the man, to be honest. He is the fucking man. He's like Thanos. He just goes out there knocking people out. Where Cyril Gane, alright, then he beat Taito Iwasa by hitting him in the neck. I can't stand Cyril Gane. He cheats in every single fight he's in. Every single fucking fight. He eye pokes or he hits people at the back of the head. He did it to Junior Dos Santos. He did it to Tom Aspinall. He did it to Taito Iwasa. I think he did it to Sergey Spivak. He does it to everyone. There's no bullshit with Alex Pereira. I think that he will win this fight by just being fucking cooler, more stoic. And I know this might sound cringe, but that's my prediction. The real reason I gave before, I don't think it's because he's stoic. I think he's the better striker. He comes from 2 a lot more skilled divisions. He has fought against a lot higher level of competition. Like Cyril Gane, again, I'm just gonna finish this fight. Cyril Gane, he beats Taito Iwasa, he beats Sergey Spivak, he beats Junior Dos Santos. These guys, he lost to Volkov. He fucking lost to Volkov. I don't give a shit what the record says. He lost to Volkov the second time. Alex Pereira, he lost to Magomed Ankalaev, where he didn't look like himself. In the second fight, he absolutely bulldozed Magomed Ankalaev. He bulldozed Jiri Prochazka 2 times. He bulldozed Jamal Hill. He won against Khalil Roundtree. He won in a very close fight against Jan Blachowicz. He won against Israel Adesanya. He has faced a lot better opponents. Sorry for my English. Sometimes it's I'm getting caught lacking. As we get on to the main event, Ilia Topuria versus Justin Gaethje. I've said it before. I think Ilia Topuria is MMA's chosen one. He's the Anakin Skywalker. He's the Mike Tyson of the UFC, of the MMA. He is, in my opinion, the best MMA fighter we've ever seen. So there you have it. You can probably guess my prediction based off of that statement. But let's break this fight down anyways. Justin Gaethje has a 4-inch height advantage, 1-inch reach advantage, and 3-inch leg reach advantage. I think Topuria is, a lot of people I think are underrating him, which is strange. And Justin Gaethje, I think a lot of people are overrating him. The fact that people are saying that Justin Gaethje could go out there and Ilia Topuria, of course anybody has the puncher's chance. But when was the last time you saw Justin Gaethje knock out someone cold? Was it Dustin Poirier? Probably. But like really knocking someone out cold, like sleeping, like they're snoring in the octagon. Justin Gaethje doesn't do that. Dustin Poirier didn't get knocked out and sleeping in the octagon. You know who did? Alexander Volkanovski did. Charles Oliveira did. Max Holloway. He wasn't out completely, but he was getting. That was a total KO, no doubt about it. So Justin Gaethje, he not only would have to land a lucky punch, he would have to land multiple lucky punches on Ilia Topuria, I think. This should be a first round knockout. And let's not forget, people are saying that Justin Gaethje is a really underrated wrestler. When the fuck did we see Justin Gaethje wrestle? Well, he just doesn't use it. No, he doesn't use it. Exactly. He doesn't fucking use it. And it wouldn't help him in this fight because Ilia Topuria is one of the best. People don't understand this. Ilia Topuria is one of the best grapplers in the UFC. And if you don't agree with me, let me just finish my thought here. I think that we can all agree that Charles Oliveira is one of the best grapplers in the UFC ever. He has the most submissions ever. He has one of the best. He probably has the best jiu-jitsu. I'm not talking about jiu-jitsu titles or competitions or whatever. I'm talking about MMA, jiu-jitsu in MMA. And I think that is proven by him having the most submissions in the UFC, right? Furthermore, he is one of the best wrestlers in the UFC. Did you see what he did to Michael Chandler twice? Or was it only the second time? He did what he did to Michael Chandler, what he did to Max Holloway. And yes, Holloway has incredible takedown defense. He always have. Michael Chandler has incredible, maybe not incredible, but he has really, really, really good wrestling and is a super strong guy. He dominated Michael Chandler for 5 rounds in the second fight. Charles Oliveira is one of the best grapplers in UFC history. Ilia Topuria dominated Charles on the ground. Charles tried to take him down. Ilia, in mid-air, reversed the takedown. He landed up on top of Charles. And in fucking seconds, he got into crucifix. The most dominant grappling position you could ever imagine. In seconds. Then he went up because he wanted to strike. Alright? And that's just proof that Ilia Topuria is... I'm not saying that he is, in a grappling match, would out-grapple Charles Oliveira. That's not what I'm saying. He could do. He definitely could do. I'm saying that Ilia Topuria, as much as people like to label him as a boxer, which, of course, he has the best boxing in the UFC. I think a lot of people would agree with me on that. Maybe with Peter Yan or Joshua Van. But he is definitely up there with those guys, right? As much as people label him as a boxer, he is one of the best grapplers in the UFC. So even if Justin Gaethje was to try to grapple, he would get absolutely ragdolled in the grappling as well. However, I'm saying Ilia Topuria by KO in the first round, which would be pretty anticlimactic for the American crowd here. Let's see. So I have Steve Garcia, who's an American, losing. Kyle Dawkins losing. Bo Nickel winning. They want Bo Nickel to win, let's be honest. Michael Chandler losing. Derek Lewis losing. Josh Hogan winning, of course. O'Malley winning. And Justin Gaethje losing. So it wouldn't be the best night for the Americans, but this is... I don't want to get into that. This is only my predictions. So there you have it, guys. That was my prediction for UFC Freedom 250. The UFC White House win, whatever you want to call it. You make sure to leave your predictions down below. Remember to like the video and remember to subscribe to the Submission Addiction for more MMA content. And I will see you guys